lot of people that are having success, and there's a lot of movements that aren't really movements; they're bowel movements, and it's just you know it's to further aggravate, to lead people astray while they make their money. For you to make it seem like it's sexy and cool to be on lean and to be on mollies,
Right.
you're a fuck boy.
Yeah.
Nobody should be on fucking syrup. And cocaine was so fucking whack. Only rock stars was doing cocaine, okay? You're not supposed to be doing cocaine, especially when you don't have a job and motherfuckers are struggling. Cocaine is not cheap, okay? I say this from experience. I was in Santa Barbara and different places. But I hung with rock stars. So Booger Sugar was fun. Here and there. But I'm a grown-ass man. Different things. But anyway, but when you're pushing that kind of shit on kids, and this is what you're supposed to do. Like, imagine us when we were kids, motherfuckers come up to us with pills. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Pills? Give me some heroin. Give me some coke. Give me some crack. Like, it was real as shit back then. But you're basically trying to turn people into crackheads via the music. Like, everything, you're supposed to be a zombie.
Yeah.
We're pushing a drug culture where it's high escapism. Back in the day, they were like, crack is whack, and I don't do dope, but I don't, whatever they would say, like, they were against that shit. Like, to smoke weed was kind of like, at first, it's like, weed? No, everything is cool, bro. So now, all they're doing in the songs is telling people to be zombies.
Right.
Don't deal with your problems. Don't face your pain. Don't go get therapy. Go get high. So then you're numb, and you really can take on more bullshit and not know where you are. That's what they're doing in the music. Then people talking about, we in the club, we rich, buying all these cars. No, you're not. You still living at home with your mom or whatever it is. You're faking it till you make it. You got kids out here believing this shit instead of making them feel like, you know what, even though the education system is fucked up, a smarter person has a better chance to make it out. You know what? If you're going to be a drug dealer, let's talk about the drug dealer thing where most of these motherfuckers have never sold drugs. And you hear all the songs right now, they're like, oh, we're pushing weight. No, crack is not in the streets like that anymore. It's pills. It's weed. It's all kind of other shit. So stop trying to make people think there's still an age when you can be Scarface. That shit's over with. It's not happening like that.
Right.
Feds done locked down that shit. It's a whole shit done dried up. But this is what they're saying on songs. Coke, coke, coke. Drug dealer, drug dealer. Okay. So if you're going to be a drug dealer, you have to be able to count, right? Because you're making money. You got to figure out how this shit is happening. You got to have the ingredients. So there's a form of chemistry to it. There's a form of intelligence to it. And you have to be able to count. So you guys are not idiots then. Right? But then on top of that, you're violating because you're dry snitching. If you're so street, you're so hood, why are you saying it on the song? So let's just push all that bullshit to the side.
Okay.
Let's stop trying to glorify that jail is fucking cool. When has jail ever been fucking cool? Especially if you get pulled over on Friday and you get arrested and you and that bitch till Monday, you can finally see a judge. It's not sexy just to begin with on just some DUI shit or just some fuckboy shit. It's not fun in jail. It's not fun to be treated like a fucking animal. Let's take a step further and be in prison over some small shit or some big shit, and then you're confined like a fucking animal, and a motherfucker has to tell you when to go piss, when you can eat, when you can think freely, when you can move. Stop trying to make that shit sound like that's sexy. I don't understand that. Now, if you're a closet case and you're really gay and secretly you go to jail and prison so you can be around men where they can't judge you instead of just coming to West Hollywood and partying and doing what you want to do, cool, come out. This is the time when you can be yourself. But stop lying to motherfuckers, making them think you're supposed to have guns. You're supposed to be in gangs. You're supposed to, oh, you're not going to jail. You're not selling drugs. You're not real. That's not real. Being real is being able to maintain a job and feed your children, keep a roof over your head, and stay the fuck out of trouble. That's the difference in what people create in the music right now. I'm in the club. Wait, you got bills to pay. How are you in the fucking club? We have to check that kind of shit because people that are far removed from it have people imitating shit that they're not even doing. Right. They'll be talking about they're doing lean, they're doing all this shit, and they only drink green tea and shop at Whole Foods. They go to organic markets and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, like what do they call them on Saturdays? The
farmers market.
Yeah, they'll be there.
Right.
But they're in the streets and they're trapping. So that's what I don't fuck with. Tell people it's all right to be smart. Tell people it's all right to be fucked up and go get therapy. Try to find ways out of it. Stop saying you killing niggas on songs when you ain't killing niggas. Then you mad when the police is killing niggas. This is what happens when you're perpetuating self-hate. It's all hatred. It's all self-hatred because we're all human. But when you're a hypocrite and you say this shit and you're staunch on these illusions and these babies out here imitating it because they believe in it, they look up to it, that's the problem. That's what I have with what they create on the other side.
Your responsibility level definitely has to raise.
when you have a child, because I mean, it's just just that alone has, me knowing, waking up every morning knowing that I'm somebody's father. You know what I mean? I have to, move different. I have to do things differently. I had to run my business more efficiently. It just makes me want to be more sharp as a businessman, as an artist, and everything. You know what I mean? Because I got to set example for somebody now. I'm not just living for myself.
Yeah. What's your you speak about the I don't know if if it comes out as a difference between the rap game and the street life, drug game, or the similarities or the letdowns. It seems like there's letdown in both. It comes across at times.
Definitely, let down in both. I mean, because my story is definitely unique. Like I came out here to California, man, and really wanted to, really had plans on doing something great. You know what I mean? And I think that I've accomplished that. You know what I mean? And I'm miles ahead of where I was. You know what I'm saying, years ago. But I know what it took to get there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of nights not eating. There was a lot of nights. I have more drugs in my possession than I would have money. You know what I mean? And I'd be like, damn, I got all of this. I gotta do something with this. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not gonna be able to eat. I'm not gonna have groceries this week, or I'm not gonna be able to go to the studio, or I'm not gonna be able to, press promo CDs. You know what I'm saying? Just being in that position, you know what I mean, was it was gut wrenching at times. You know what I mean? It was, times, I don't want to sell heroin or crack. You know what I mean? Being a direct effect somebody's family life, crumbling, that takes a toll on your mind. You know what I mean? If you got a conscience, you know what I mean? If you just heartless out here, that don't matter to you. But you selling, heroin to somebody's mother, you know what I mean, that got 4 kids or something like that, and those kids aren't eating because of you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn. It's at that point, it's like, damn. It's like you don't want to. It's like your stomach or theirs,
Right.
and it's a sad state of affairs, man, because it's like a never-ending cycle, man. You know what I mean? Addiction, it haunts everybody, the dealer and the addict.
Yeah.
Not just the addict. It definitely affects everybody, and it affects a whole family group.
Why do you think what's the less than glamorous aspects of having to sell drugs? Obviously, there's the upside is if you're making a lot of money, if you get to that point, which is not always, it's not easy.
That's only one out of 4 drug dealers. That's like 20% or 25% of the time, guys that actually succeed and have success and make 6 figures. Most guys don't.
Don't, exactly. So, with that, given that that's the fact, and that, there comes the angst and stresses of having to, I think like you illustrate, sitting in your car, you got your gun, by your side, or having to, you carrying this product, and there's no comfort in that. And I'm just wondering, what is the reason that people still go towards it?
You know what, man? I look at it like it's the society we live in. I think that America is just a shoot 'em up, bang, bang. It's a gangster state. I think it's a gangster society. You know what I mean? I think that we feed off of these mob movies, The Sopranos, The Wire, stuff like that. I just feel like America runs off stuff like that, and they love it. We love violence. We love violence in films. You know what I'm saying? And music and all of that. You know what I mean? With myself, you know what I mean? I don't try to, glamorize, drug dealing and murder and things of that nature. I try to make it so vivid that you feel like you're right there, and it kind of scare you away from it. You know what I'm saying? But that definitely doesn't have that effect on everybody. But I mean, like for a kid, with nothing in a impoverished area, like that drug dealer sometimes all he has to look up to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it starts at home. I wanted those things myself. Like, why do we gravitate to that type of lifestyle? Why do we do that? Because it seems like Black kids and Latin kids, it seems like we're the only ones that really gravitate to that. You know what I mean? I don't know a 12-year-old, 13-year-old white kid that's like, oh man, I want to get some crack, or I want to sell dope, or I want to be like, this guy, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that in those communities. I see it in our community because
Yeah, but the numbers are still that, white kids do more drugs than.
I know, yeah, about doing drugs, but I'm talking about like wanting to be like Tony Montana.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I don't think that's an aspiration of a lot of, white kids. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of black kids, yeah, they see that image, and a lot of Latin kids, they see that image, and they're like, oh yeah, that's what I, aspire to be. You know what I mean? Because and that comes from bad parenting, lack of education. You know what I mean? I knew right from wrong, man. I knew what I shouldn't be doing and what I should be doing. I made those decisions on my own. You know what I mean? And that's not not a test to my mother or my father, anything of that. I saw something that I wanted, and I wanted to take a shortcut and take the easy way out. My little brother's a doctor, man. You know what I mean? So he didn't do any of the things I did. But I'm glad that I was there to kind of go through that for him. I feel like I went through the streets for my little brother, because I couldn't imagine, being in the position I'm in right now, and because my little brother definitely looks up to me, you know what I mean? But he doesn't aspire to be the things that I was in the streets, because he knows that's off limits to him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I said, I couldn't imagine myself being in the position I'm in right now, still trying to pull my little brother out of the streets. You know what I mean? That would be horrifying to me. You know what I mean? I definitely wouldn't want to go through that. So, I'm glad that, he and my younger sister definitely had the frame of mind to, stay positive and keep it positive and get their degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, to what you were saying about America being like a gangster state, I just have watched this thing on, it's a Ken Burns thing on Prohibition. This writer in Baltimore named Lawrence Burney put me onto it. And it's like everything, you just understand a lot more about the way that the war on drugs, quote unquote, and also the weed business is taking off right now.
I'm definitely involved too. Freddie Kane, I got that.
Yeah, holler at your girl.
I got
by
that
the
for
way.
you. I got that for you.
I mean, do you think that is, how does then like the weed business play into some of what you're talking about?
I think that weed used to be looked at as an illicit drug like cocaine and stuff like that in the 60s and 70s. I think that it's being more accepted now because of the research and everything involved with it. Right now, man, all these big tobacco companies and alcohol distributors, they're getting into the weed business.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's companies and people that frowned upon marijuana for a long time are now getting involved. And soon you're going to see these big corporate companies, the Coca-Colas and the Pepsis and guys like that, dealing with, marijuana farmers and things of that nature. So, I mean, it's a big business, man. I mean, and if you can, they've been selling cigarettes for the past 300 years. You know what I mean? And they're definitely about to start selling marijuana legally. You know what I mean? Like it's
For sure.
It's selling. I mean, I seen something in some country. I forgot which one it was, but I think they like legalized drugs. Period. Like, you know what I mean? I want to see how that's gonna work. You know what I mean? Because I definitely don't think all drugs should be, legally used like in a vending machine. I want to say that's Russia or something like that. I don't know. I don't want to.
A terrible idea.
Don't quote me, Russia. But in this country, whichever country this is, I forgot which one it was. I don't know if it was y'all or not, Russia. I think it was y'all, because y'all do some crazy shit. But
they invent crazy drugs over there.
Yeah, they do. Like they actually have like drug rooms where you can go use your drugs and all of that stuff. Like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? I want to know how that's going to work, affect, what type of effect that's going to have on their society.
And especially on like how they would treat addiction.
Right. I think that when you take the taboo off of certain things, I think that people like kind of like fall off of them.
Yeah,
They
right.
don't really want them anymore. I think like, when you constantly implanted in your brain in America, like drugs are bad, drugs are bad, drugs are bad, drugs are bad. People, it's like a moth to a flame.
Yeah.
It's gonna kill you, but you know what I mean? You keep going to it. So I think that, if you take that away from it, I think that maybe it could kind of like curve the drug use a little bit, but who knows? That remains to be seen.
Yeah, I think it really depends on the drug.
Yeah,
like in Prohibition, drinking went up when it was illegal.
Exactly.
Now I feel like weed is just different.
Yeah, weed's different. I mean, like, I think that heroin and all that type of stuff should be illegal, man, because it's highly addictive. prescription drugs are really bad thing going on right now. Like I know I've made music about them and stuff. I used to be addicted to prescription drugs myself. Oxycontin, Xanax, Vicodin. You know what I mean? Just take being around people that were taking pills and just doing them and just like, oh wow, I never felt like this before, because I was used to just smoking weed and drinking. You know what I mean? But then I started hanging around a group of people that was doing those prescription drugs, and they became so readily available to me. It was just like, wow, at first you feel like you're not doing nothing wrong, but I mean, better than a heroin addict on the corner.
They're so easy to get.
Yeah, so easy to get. I was drinking like, I was drinking a pint of syrup a day. You know what I mean? Like Lambo knows I was on it heavy, like for damn near 2 years straight. And I had to like look in the mirror, like, wow, what am I doing? Like I'm pouring an opiate into my stomach every day. I'm basically like drinking heroin. You know what I mean? And like I said, it looks cool. It looks, fun and all of that. You know what I mean? And like I said, we glamorize it and, with the rap thing and all of that. And I see so many kids with styrofoam cups nowadays all over the country. It used to be a region thing. It used to be a thing in like, the South and, you know what I mean, a little bit of the Midwest. Few people like in Philly was messing with it, you know what I'm saying? Like, but now it's everywhere. It's spread like wildfire, man. And you know what I mean? The combination of all of these drugs ain't gonna do nothing but kill us, man. I think that we need to start, focusing on getting free instead of, getting high all the time,
Yeah. How are we gonna do that?
I don't know. It's difficult. I think the prescription drugs, that's something that I definitely had to cut totally out of my life, period. And, I suggest that youngsters do the same,
Yeah, that's a thing that people don't highlight enough. I think the people with longevity in the game and who are really at the top are totally sober.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
have been for years.
Definitely. You know what I mean? I don't think that you can, your functionality, like I said, as a business person and as a, a staple in this game, I don't think that you can reach your full potential if you high all the time, you know what I mean, on, certain drugs, I just don't,
That's the slogan right there.
Yeah, I don't think really? I don't think you can reach your full potential if you on drugs all the time. You know what I mean? That's that's my personal, opinion. But some people, they gotta be on it all the time. You know what I mean? And that's their thing. That's cool. But it just wasn't, conducive with the way I wanted to live my life.
You were speaking to the crowd, and you were like, "Yo, like people, like why isn't being healthy cool?" Like you're like, people don't look at it like people look at somebody with a fresh outfit and Jordan's like, yo, that's fresh.
Yeah.
Why isn't like, and especially, and I won't only say hip hop, but why like our generation?
In general in a generation, like that is something that should be looked at as the coolest shit. Because the key to everything, and especially like people always ask me, yo, how did you kind of break into fruits and veggies and being in a health? And like honestly though, the answer is health is the gangsterest shit because it's survival. Like you know what I'm saying? Anything that's real, or anytime you've been in a real situation in your life that's kind of life threatening, the first thing on your mind is survival. Like how do I survive? Like how do I stay alive? How do I survive? So I think we're just adding a balance to just fruits and veggies is really mainly survival. Like you know what I mean? So to me, that's the gangsterest shit you could do. To have that discipline and add that into your survival, because like a lot of us don't think about it, but if shit happened, like we live in New York City and a lot of people live in big cities, and even if you don't live in a city, no matter where you at, just say some shit happened. You in your car, something happens, you on a bridge. How far can you walk if you got to get out your car? Like you know what I mean? Sure. That's survival. So I always think it's survival terms. Like if some shit happened and I couldn't eat for days, how many days is it going to be before I break down and go crazy? Like, you know what I mean? So I think when you think of survival mode, it just kind of puts you to try to learn what's healthy for you, what's good for you, what's not good for you, because you're trying to survive. So for me, that's super gangster.
Sure. As being an artist, you're on the road a lot. And sometimes I think when people are on the road, even like drivers, like I have a friend who's a truck driver, and he's like, yo, it's hard to eat healthy. I'm like, well, I mean, because he's driving late at night. I guess if he doesn't make it himself, it's hard to find spots.
Well, it's rough to follow a program. I'm not gonna. It's hard to do a lot of things in life. That shouldn't be an excuse, because it's hard to do a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's hard to get out of bed and go to work. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's hard to just do a lot of shit. So I think it's kind of like finding your program and finding your way and putting your inner you, taking the inner you as serious as you take the outer you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody in this room, if I asked them, yo, did you take a shower? Did you, like, wash your body? Did you brush your teeth? You're going to be like, hell yeah, hell fucking yeah, every day, a couple times a day. That's what, you do that. Now, if I ask everybody in this room how often you clean your insides, like, it's like how you clean your insides if you don't know, like, you know what I mean? And then it's like, if you think about the bottom of your dishwasher disposal, the bottom of your, when you cleaning your sink or the stove and all that, when you cleaning that out, that gook is in your system. And if you ain't clean that, like, you wash your ass every day, you wash your private parts, your underarms, brush your teeth, you got to worry about cleansing the body too, the whole body. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm not saying you got to be a health nut, a guru, a plant-based guy, a vegan, any of that. But you got to have some sort of balance and worry about that, because then there's people who, you got family members, brothers, sisters, siblings, mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, brothers, and then the most important, children. So I feel like just saying, bring a little balance is a way to say, all right, let's equal this shit out. We know what we deal with on a day-to-day basis. We deal with lack of sleep. We drink. We smoke. Some of us sex excessively, work excessively, do a lot excessively. So with that kind of lifestyle, you got to have some sort of balance and some sort of way to slow yourself down and treat yourself okay to say, all right, I'm doing bad to my body. Let me do good to my body. And that's where it really all starts. Like, you know what I mean? So I think with thinking like that kind of brings a balance to what your everyday life and just to yourself somewhat. Like, you know what I mean?
I think you were ahead of the game, like you and the whole Juices for Life crew, because what was really like I still think it hasn't really hit, like the bubble hasn't popped. It's almost like dieting, going to the gym. So many people, like Weight Watchers, right? Yeah. All these things. So many people, like go to the gym and then fall off. But comes Monday, they're like, "Yo, I got to get back to the gym." Or you think about how people say, "I'm gonna start a diet," tomorrow. Or so juicing and living that green lifestyle and eating healthy is becoming what it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I feel like you guys were ahead of the game. Did you?
Part of it, I feel like the hip hop culture, but I feel like just when you know something good, you're supposed to tell your brother. You're supposed to tell your sister. You're supposed to tell your family. You're supposed to tell your homie. You're supposed to tell your community. So I think it just hasn't been made cool to where everybody was saying it, because if you're an artist and you have money, especially like more so than rap, like you got to think about all the times before like the health bubble started popping, you open the magazine and seen health tip secret or, health secret. Oh, we got some secret tips on how to be healthy. Like, so it's always been around, fruits and veggies and natural herbs, teas.
Sure, plant-based
things to solve yourself and eat. Always been around. It's just that it hasn't been pushed like that. Like, you know what I mean? So I think it just takes, we just don't, to be honest, we don't give a fuck. You either with the flow or with the wave or not. Like, you know what I mean? We don't let nobody, I think people let other people tamper with what they feel like they project is cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't let anyone's mind state or what's on their mind project what I think is cool. What I think is cool because it's cool for me. Like, just, you may not think it's cool, and that's okay. Like, you know what I mean? That's okay. That's you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, long as I know what's cool for me, I think that works. And I think when you have something in your life that works like that way, it's infectious in a positive way. Like, you know what I mean? And that kind of spreads out. That spreads out to the dude who really know that you know about the street corners and what's going on outside. And pretty much, everything that's rough, you kind of, about or got an idea about. And then when he see you making a change because you've been through that and you know that course, and you don't want to take that course no more, he gonna be like, damn, what made Broski want to get off that course? Like, you know what I'm saying? Damn, his skin look a little better. He's smiling a little more. Like, you know what I mean? He's shining. He's you know, he's just always maxing and relaxing. He's staying out the way. And that's kind of infectious in a positive way. And I think that's how we have to be in our community, because it's not wrong with, like, I think a lot of people always get confused. And I think when you have an idea of what being ghetto is, what being a gangster is, what being a mobster is, what being a normal human being is, a normal civilian, a regular Joe, you kind of know that everybody is everywhere. It's not just harder people in the ghetto. Like, some of this nerds, there's dudes who never had a fist fight, never beat nobody up, never got into the drama, that's from the projects. Then there's a guy who's from a fucking suburban neighborhood somewhere who goes out and fucks people up every weekend because he gets drunk and he likes to brawl and likes to get into shit. So life comes at you in different ways. Like, sometimes you got to have a broader view to be able to just start taking people just for people who, what they present to you, with the character and they, you know, the aspects and they attributes that they bring to you when you meet them. And that's all you can really go off of, and that's all you should give people. Like, here's who I am, here's what I do, here's what I'm about. You either fuck with it or you don't fuck with it. And I'm cool with it. If you don't fuck with me, I'm cool, as long as you ain't fucking with me.